Montreal Protocol is the first international document which creates binding obligation on the member countries. The Montreal Protocol components can be divided into various stages. The first one, what the Montreal Protocol does, it identifies the ozone depleting substances. Then only the members can be demanded to reduce or avoid the usage of ozone depleting substances. What has happened at first, the Montreal Protocol has identified what are the chemical components can be considered as ozone depleting substances. It has identified, as we have discussed earlier, CFC, halogens and halogenated CFCs and carbon tetrachloride and HCFCs, HBFCs and methyl bromide and N-methyl bromide. These are the ozone depleting substances have been identified by the Montreal Protocol. How the Montreal Protocol addresses the nations, because all the jurisdictions or all countries are not equipped to reduce the ozone depleting substances at the domestic level. For example, the developed nations can provide an alternative substances to the domestic household usages, whereas in the least developed countries context or the developing countries context, it is not possible, because the alternative substances will be highly expensive, which cannot be affordable to the least developed countries context. That is the reason why the Montreal Protocol addresses the ozone depletion problem in two ways, and in this context the developed countries have been handled in a particular manner and rest of the countries have been handled in a different manner. There is a special consideration being provided to the developing countries to eliminate the ozone depleting substances and their uses at the domestic level. Montreal Protocol 1987 has been subjected to 4 amendments from the very beginning. One is London Amendment 1990, then Copenhagen Amendment 1992, then Montreal Amendment 1997, then the Beijing Amendment in 1999. And through all these amendments, what are the changes have been brought into the Montreal Protocol? The changes are substantive in nature. At the time of beginning of the Montreal Protocol, that is in 1987, the Montreal Protocol had a shape, but after undergoing the 4 amendments, the Montreal Protocol has taken a new shape. What is the new shape? It has added many ozone depleting substances, and there is a international monetary multinational fund there is an international multilateral fund has been created for assisting the developing countries with respect to elimination of ozone depleting substances from the day-to-day life of their population. To facilitate and expedite the best available environmentally safe substitutes and related technologies, and the same to be provided to the developing countries. India's commitment in ozone depletion. We have discussed the Montreal Protocol, the parent document, the Vienna Convention, and what are the measures have been taken at the international level. Now we are moving into the India's commitment to the ozone depletion. India, being a developing economy, has accepted and ratified all environmental instruments, legal instruments at the international level. There is no doubt about the ratification of Vienna Convention as well as the Montreal Protocol. Even in the recent meeting with the United States President Mr. Barack Obama, the Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, has assured that in January 2015, India is willing to cooperate with the global countries to address the global concern. Since 1993, India has adopted and initiated various domestic level measures to address this particular ozone depletion problem. In 2000, India has notified our ozone depleting rules, which completely regulates production as well as usage of the ozone depleting substances within this country. And because of various administrative as well as the policy measures, India has completely ensured and eliminated all the ozone depleting substances have not been used, neither being used nor being produced in this country. So as to incorporate the advanced chemical components which have been later added to the Montreal Protocol, the ozone depleting substances rules 2000 has been further amended in 2014, by which hydrofluorocarbons have been added and that has been removed. By 2014 ozone depleting substances rule, the new chemical components which have been added in the Montreal Protocol have been added into this Indian context. The same has been set as the target. Whereas the India is concerned, India joined at the global venture. Now India has mooted a proposal to amend the Montreal Protocol at the 5th time to add the HCFCs. In conclusion, ozone depletion is a global issue. It is not a country specific issue, or it is not a continental issue. It is a global concern, as I stated. Multilateral cooperation is one of the essential solutions. It is not only from the scientific manner that cooperation is required, technical cooperation, scientific cooperation as well as the legal cooperation. As I stated, since it is a global issue, each one of us is the victims of the ozone depletion. So we have to realize this particular aspect. So when we put ourselves into the problem, then only we can realize the impact of the problem. So we need to realize at first, we need to sensitize ourselves at first, then we have to sensitize the rest of the people. Most of the countries have been witnessing the substantial change in the weather pattern and the global warming, impact of global warming. There would be monsoon failure. There are monsoon failures even in our country also. The increased temperatures, we have been witnessing the monsoon which is getting failed, as well as the rains are coming in the hot season, and the winter is getting, it has become a light winter, and summer has become a very horrible experience. It is because of the ozone depletion, because of the global warming. What are the suggestions which we can take out of this particular module to educate rest of the people? Each and every one in the world is having a self-responsibility. Each and every one in the world is having a self-responsibility to address the ozone depletion. Creating awareness among the people is an important task. We need to educate the people about avoiding the usage of the ozone depleting substances and the other components where the ozone depleting substances are present, and re-inculcate the values of the Indian culture and the tradition, which always pay respect towards nature and worship the nature. That should be the attitude. If you keep on reducing the forest and others, the environmental components, and we are going to face huge problem. So if we understand the values, we re-inculcate the same values, probably we can achieve what we are aiming to achieve. On the other hand, the developed countries should cooperate with the rest of the world and facilitate technology transfer and the scientific assistance to the developing countries in addition to the financial assistance to address this global concern. If there is no technological movement, if there is no scientific cooperation from the developed countries to the developing countries, then the monetary assistance won't make any sense. So, there has to be a three-dimensional cooperation. One is scientific cooperation, then the technological cooperation, then the financial cooperation. So, the three-dimensional cooperation will facilitate rest of the world to address the ozone depletion.